Yeah, I just want to say, how many just does that not speak to the humbleness of Mark? I don't know if you caught when he talked about the Russian game, and he said Jim Craig, and he said Jimmy made a couple saves, and then we scored a goal. He never gives himself credit for scoring the goal, and it's amazing the go-ahead one, and then obviously the second one, and then he's apologetic to me in the back. I'm like, you're talking about something that changed the course of our country. I think I can sit in the back for a little bit longer, but that he's that's what makes him so unique and so special, and he's one of a kind, and I think we're so lucky to have him here in our Wisconsin family, and it's a privilege for me to talk next, and as we're winding our season down, obviously we're not where we want to be right now, but there's still basketball games to be played, and two opportunities at home against obviously two teams fighting in the top, upper echelon of the Big Ten, fighting for Big Ten Big Ten championship. And as long as there's time on the clock, our kids to be able to have this opportunity to play two more times here in the Kohl Center against a very, very good Maryland team and a very good Northwestern team, and to celebrate, this will be our first senior class that we've seen since the beginning. And have everybody back on Saturday for Senior Day, and then have one more game in the regular season. I read something this morning. I think you're always trying to look at what can you make better, what can you improve with your team and your individuals. And I'm a big John Gordon fan, and I think I'm taking the phrase that you can either be bitter or you can get better, and that's what we're going to continue to do with our group. We had a tough outing yesterday at Iowa. Got off on the wrong foot on the road, after a game Thursday with Purdue that came down to the wire. But hopefully the ups and the downs of any type of sporting event, especially, women's basketball for me is hopefully preparing, our group, whether it's seniors all the way down to the freshmen, for everything they're going to encounter moving forward. And that's a whole lot more than just the game of basketball. So we're excited. Obviously, Maryland is playing great basketball. They lost 2 of their first 4 in the league. They haven't lost since. They score the ball really well. Transition defense, taking care of the basketball are going to be big keys on Wednesday night. And again, yesterday at halftime, it was 46-45. Maryland was up 1 at Penn State, and they scored 60 points in the second half and limited Penn State to a lot less than that. So we'll get ourselves ready, and that's all you can do. And I like the way our kids prepare. I like how hard they play. It's being able to capitalize on making sure we do that possession by possession and to give ourselves the best chance to be successful.
Questions?
I was going to ask about the most memorable game you've played in, but
yeah,
probably won't
well,
top
that's
that
pretty much after him. The last speaker going to be, well, in the 6th grade game, we scored a game-winning basket. No.
Maryland, since they've been in this league, has pretty much dominated things. What has made them so good over several turnovers of players and sustaining that excellence?
Well, I think the first thing, I think Brenda has done a tremendous job of recruiting players to Maryland that are multifaceted. They're a team that, they do have kids who are listed as guards and as post players, but they always have kids that have tremendous skill sets that are very, very versatile. And she does a good job, I think, of giving them enough freedom to be able to create things. I think anytime a team changes leagues that's been successful in one league, I think if you look and study, Gary Blair did the same thing. When he went from Arkansas to Texas A&M, he wanted Texas A&M to play like an SEC team in the Big 12. And I think that's what, I think that is what Brenda's brought, and I think it's helped raise the league. I think Brenda said, hey, we might be coming to the Big Ten, but we're going to play like an ACC team. We're going to play fast. We're not going to get caught up maybe some of the same physicality that a lot of the teams in the Big Ten had got caught up with when they came into the league. And I think it's helped the league. I think it's changed. Ohio State obviously had such a great run, how Ohio State used to play under Coach Foster in the championship level. is very different for how Kevin McGuff has recruited and how they play now. And I think that speaks to, what Brenda Fries has done at Maryland. And, I think she gets kids that, buy into the aggressive nature. She's always been big on how good their transition game is going to be, how well they're going to rebound the basketball. They're going to put a lot of pressure on you. And again, I think that sustained excellence and when they transferred over from the ACC to the Big Ten was they were going to continue to try to play that same style no matter what the other 13 teams in the league, how they played. And I think it's been good for the league. I think it's helped our teams get higher seeds, been able to be more successful. And again, I really, from watching it afar and as from distance-wise afar now, but being in the league, but being at George Washington and seeing it firsthand, she's willing to play anybody anywhere. And I think she sees that that's going to always make her team better come the stretch run in February and March.
Diane?
Can you talk about the senior class, just the kind of the unsung heroes, Kendra Van Leeuwen, Suzanne Gilreath, but also like the development of Abby Leszewski this year as what they've kind of established for this program?
Yeah, I think, the uniqueness with this class is, it's a class outside of Kendra who had, signed national letters of intent with a different head coach, but I think had a great belief and in very different ways, but we're connected, I think, to Wisconsin. Obviously, Abby's dad playing here, Suzanne's brother being on the football team, Grace Mueller's dad, coming to school here, and then you have somebody like Kendra who kind of came in late. But I think it's a team that's taken, a group of seniors that's taken a lot of pride in helping change the culture and move things forward. And sometimes that's done statistically. Sometimes that's done, behind the scenes. Somebody like Grace Mueller, who's only played in 9 games in her career, has made an impact on our program. Somebody like Kendra, who's really been that unsung hero to do a lot of things that don't show up necessarily on the stat sheet. I think she's led our team in the last 4 years in visits to the trainer. And she's willing to do anything and give up her body for the betterment of the team. Somebody like Suzanne, who's come in and made her mark as a three-point specialist. And then you look at somebody, especially this year, like Abby Leszewski, who's really, put things together. And you look at that and you hope, somebody like Abby, who's playing the best basketball of her career, it's a tribute to those kids' work ethics and not only what they've done themselves, but I think the legacy and the leadership they've had for those groups behind them to be able to follow and be in their footsteps. And, you have Courtney Frederickson in that group too. She obviously has another year of eligibility, but a group that came in and believed and understands the process, and it maybe has not gotten them where they exactly thought. But the one thing I know is all 5 of those kids are going to be highly successful because of their work ethic and their belief, and in very different ways. And proud to be their coach the last 4 years, and that bar that they can continue to work towards to try to get the next generation and the legacy they're going to leave.